It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
We have these things called small business spotlights. We want to highlight Arkansas business owners who take risks, who invest, and who know a thing or two about creating jobs. They are the backbone of our economy, and most of the time our government treats them like they are really just this endless cash cow and can be manipulated by a lot of politicians who can't create for themselves. So they take from Arkansas small business owners. We want to highlight that. I want to welcome to the program. We have Mr. Patrick Thomas is with us. He is an Arkansas businessman. Patrick, welcome to Conduit News.
Good morning, Paul. Glad to be here, and thanks for talking about this subject on the air today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely want to get to the internet sales tax and your thoughts on that, because I know you've got really good stuff on that. But tell us, you're based out of Jacksonville, is that correct? And tell us kind of your experience, what has led you to this point in terms of business.
Well, Paul, the idea of sales tax would be, in my opinion, to support my community, my family, and figuratively speaking, the fire truck that my city invested in. And when the state of Arkansas says I have to collect sales tax for Hot Springs County, let's say, I have a problem with that. And now today the state of Arkansas is wanting to put the burden on similar entrepreneurs who are up and coming, if you will, considering the downfall of the small business guy with various big box stores shutting down various businesses across America. We're making a comeback, but yet here comes now our federal government, or our state governments, if you will, and the Supreme Court and their ruling. All of this that we're talking about here in the last few weeks is going to do nothing but harm the small business guy trying to make that comeback. I can't imagine asking somebody in a place that I always refer to as Timbuktu, Idaho, working for the state of Arkansas to collect sales tax for us here in Arkansas. So it's just a burden, and I'm against it strongly.
So do you not buy the arguments that the state, one of their arguments is that this is for your brick and mortar Main Street businesses? You reject that?
I reject that 100%. I keep hearing this argument that it's going to levelize the playing field. The majority of the honest folks out there, they're not buying on the internet to avoid paying sales tax. They're paying shipping and handling charges, which many times is far greater than that sales tax amount. So if my argument with a competing brick and mortar store is, I have to charge that shipping and handling charge, and you're accusing me of having customers that want to avoid paying sales tax? I don't think that's a valid argument. It's not levelizing the playing field. We as internet e-commerce business marketeers, we operate with efficiency. We don't have to provide the creature comfort, if you will, because we use warehouses that are either remotely operated or in a lot of cases, not even heated and cooled. But whenever that brick and mortar has a storefront, he has to heat and cool that space. So we can operate much more efficiently. So the levelizing a playing field has nothing to do with sales tax. It's all about efficiency.
And so essentially, this is just going to make things more expensive. I mean, you guys are going to pass this on to the consumer, right?
Well, not really. We still have a lot of margin remaining. We can absorb the costs. Where I'm seeing a blunder by the government is some states are going to charge origin-based tax. A lot of people haven't heard that lately, but California and about 10 other states, they are origin-based. And now the state of Arkansas, let's say, if they implement the same things that South Dakota is wanting to do, they're going to want to charge a use tax, because now you and I have bought from California. California is going to collect their sales tax, and the state of Arkansas wants California now to collect and remit the use tax for us. Let's just say California is 10% and we're 10% here in the state of Arkansas. That's 20%. Us in Arkansas are going to stop buying from California. If anybody wants to try to control this thing and shut down the internet market, it might be that they want to just have everybody go to an origin-based tax, and we just take care of our own and encourage the economy in our local communities.
Well, so I mean, this is about more money for governments. I mean, that's what they're after. They're definitely after the revenue, But I would just say, unless what you described happens, I think people are going to continue to shop on the internet, even if, let's say, there is somebody somewhere that does pass on the tax to the consumer, and you do pay more for your internet shopping. I don't think that means people are necessarily going to say, oh, I paid a little bit more, so now I'm going to go to mom and pop store on Main Street instead of go to Amazon or wherever else. Because the internet is so convenient, people are going to still shop there. And so this doesn't save your brick and mortar businesses that are trying to sell products that people no longer want to touch and feel before they buy them. Those are still going to continue to go out of business. I just want to point that out, that it's a lame attempt to deceive the public to say that we've got, to level the playing field for Main Street businesses. Main Street businesses are going to continue to go out of business because of the internet. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's right. That is today's, whether you want to call it mechanization or technology, it's the trend of the day to sell your wares on the internet. Even Sears discovered it back in the day, selling his pocket watches. Today the internet is the Sears and Roebuck catalog, if you will. And if people don't keep up with the technology and the changes, if you don't figure out how to sell your wares on the internet, then you're going to go out of business because you didn't keep up with the times. And having read the Supreme Court's decision yesterday, it's 40 pages of painful stuff. And the one thing that popped up in there was that this was obviously has something to do with Amazon and Walmart, and one not liking the other. So the powers of some box stores to complain about Amazon, those powers are, and that muscle, if you will, is obviously there, and they're using the courts and the lawyers to try to fight off the competition. Who's going to get hurt is the small guy.
Yeah, and not to mention, we really have a fun. If states move forward with this and they pass their own tax laws and they expect out-of-staters to comply, what we essentially have here is taxation without representation. I mean that's a fundamental deviation from American philosophy, really.
Well, right here in the state of Arkansas, there's 75 counties that I have to be knowledgeable of. I have to maintain records for, and if there's 3 cents due some county here in Arkansas, I have to keep record of it, and I have to remit that and document it. 75 counties, not to mention the countless zip codes. And I don't even want to get into the whether or not that zip code is in a city limits or not. But in the United States of America, if you'll go do the searching, there's 3,007 counties. Now, some are saying, oh, no, there's software out there and there's companies that are going to spring up to take care of all that for you. That is still something that is a distraction from my primary purpose in my life for my family, and that is to make money. If I now am going to work for these states and having to even use free software that they're going to provide, that is still an activity. It's a task that I have to take time out of my day to do.
Yeah. That's going to be immense. So, Pat, we're talking with Patrick Thomas. So, you sell things online. This is why you are, following this so closely. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you have?
I changed my business model to survive 2008.
Okay. So, tell us about that. Tell us that story. Walk us through that.
Well, in 2008, when the housing market crashed, people began to buy only what they need. Now, I just happen to be in a market where I sell outdoor power equipment parts. You need to mow your grass, so you need to fix your lawnmower. Maybe you have a power outage. You have a generator. You need power, and you need to fix your generator. I have come to realize that because of the downturn of the economy, more people are buying what they need, and today they're fixing what they've got already instead of buying new. So I ceased to sell whole goods, and I moved over into the parts sector, and now we sell globally. What's next? Is Europe going to be told to collect sales tax for the state of Arkansas because I sell and ship to Europe, Australia, the Caribbean? Where does it end?
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right. I mean, they're certainly trying to. I mean, the technology essentially has gone around the government elites, and they're trying their best to get back control of this thing. They're not only trying to get control of the revenue, Patrick, they're trying to get control of the information. That's a separate thing. The free flow of information is also damaging their control and what they're trying to do to manipulate the populations across the planet. Patrick, can you give us the website if people want to go there? We're going to put it up on the screen. If you can give us the website of where you buy, where people can buy.
Our website is simply arkansasope.com, and there's a dash in between Arkansas and OPE, but OPE stands for Outdoor Power Equipment. But you can Google us on the web, and all sorts of information will pop up. But we're out there, been in business. I've been running e-commerce platforms since 1992 and selling other products and building websites. And when I started this business some 19 years ago, I knew that this was going to be the future. And even when Amazon decided to get in the business, I just took a jab at Amazon by opening up a bookstore. And it's kind of just a little thing between me and Amazon. You're going to get in my business, I'm going to get in your business. But I soon moved on and realized Amazon really can't even hurt me. For what I do here in the state of Arkansas in the Jacksonville community, I make a pretty good living for me and my family and the people I employ. Mm-hmm. So remaining small is still good for me. And this whole 200 invoices and $100,000 in sales, I can play their game. I can cut off at 200 invoices if I want to, or under 200 invoices. There's a lot of logistics and questions still yet to be answered about those numbers that states are going to set, but it's ultimately going to hurt the small business guy, and I think that is, if you want to call it a conspiracy by the big guys to hurt the small guy, call it what you want.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are conspiracies all the time. I mean, that's really what government is, is they conspire to get their language out there that sounds good, but this is really what the end is, and it's something different. It's a look over here mentality. We've got your website up right now on our website, and again, it's arkansas-ope.com. That's arkansas-ope.com. It's Arkansas Outdoors. It's really neat that you're able to do this. But I want to go back to what you just said. If, like, for South Dakota, their law was if you do more than 200 invoices in a year or you do over $100,000 in business, we want you to comply with this. And you're saying essentially that if you have to, you'll just stop doing business at that threshold to keep from complying. And I'm just pointing out, I mean, what's that going to do if everybody does that? What does that do to our productivity? What does that do to our economy? And what you're saying here, Patrick, goes against all of the arguments that the government elites that want more of our money say.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I don't have to have $101,000 out of South Dakota. I can just move on and expand other markets. Remember now, I do business with the globe. If I have to, I can just shut off the entire state of Arkansas. I can shut off the United States. I can just ship internationally. It's easy to set aside the hassles, if you will, of doing business. And again, there's some out there who might be hearing this today saying, "Oh, you're fretting over nothing because there's systems out there that's going to be in place." Again, it might be a retaliatory attitude, but if they want to put a burden upon the small business guy, we can play that game too. Yeah,
you're exactly right. You are exactly right on that.
We're a force to be reckoned with today, and you can put the government in that bucket. You can put the big box stores in that bucket. They don't like it because we figured out how to beat them. In theory, the internet process of buying is infinite. The box is a finite container, and they can only put so much in there. And I could in theory outdo. I could do just what Amazon is doing. Amazon is using third-party sellers, and that makes them infinite. The Walmart mentality, if you will, they've only got a certain amount of distribution centers. If they don't figure out how to compete with Amazon, they're going to lose out. And I think that's where they're at right now, and they don't like it.
Patrick Thomas, Arkansas businessman. Hey, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you taking a risk, and I appreciate you, providing products that people want that make their lives better, and that's what capitalism is all about. And I wish the government would understand that. And I really appreciate you coming on today, sir.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
All righty. Thank you. Patrick Thomas, everybody. Again, that website, arkansas-ope.com. Go there now. It's a great Arkansas business. We're going to be right back with Mr. T.